Okay, first match. Dboy versus Godzilla versus from winner's bracket.
Yo.
I wanted to look at this match because Mothra is such a unique character for fighting games, and the mirror is just really unique. Standard opening, the command lift off, and
Yeah.
trying to zone each other with the beams and the powder.
Yeah.
Dboy has a slightly better grasp of the matchup here.
Oh my
You
god,
see
bro.
he positions
And so I
himself
love for
slightly lower
Dittos,
than
the
the other
art is
Mothra.
usually beautiful.
If you're going to beam fight the other
With the
Mothra,
pink energy
you
beams,
want to be a little bit lower and target her abdomen, which she lowers during her
Okay.
beam animation.
Both throwing out dust clouds. Ooh! One activates the other.
Godzilla versus his dive made no sense here. I don't know what he was going for, and he gets punished for it. When you're above the other Mothra, then you can start
Ooh, dust
poking
cloud.
with her normals and punish with the dive if you get the chance to. Dboy immediately gets off the ground with the command dash.
Yep.
Just knowing this, does not want to eat a dive.
Godzilla versus the pink one. Dboy is regular.
Again, Godzilla versus goes for a dive that from just a really bad position and makes his position even worse. He's in rage mode here, and he should really use this to just go in. He has full stun bar, and if he trades normals, he will come out on top just with the huge 50% rage bonus, but he gets time overed instead.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a 3 heavy dive punish that Godzilla versus missed. But he gets that punished. Okay. Okay, so Hurricane Winds is actually not a very good Oki against another Mothra. In fact, it's a pretty situational Oki in general. It does very little damage, but it accumulates a lot of stun. Issue with doing it against Mothra is she's going to wake up command jump, and that's going to invincibly right through it. And even if you clip her with a couple of hits of it, it just doesn't really do anything if you're not securing the stun. If you look at what Dboy does on Oki instead, he uses his heavy normals and he positions himself slightly above the other Mothra, so even if she does the command jump, he can just fly up a little bit on reaction and get a slight punish.
Yep. We're now below the quarter mark. What's going to happen? Both in their rest states. High damaging attacks.
Really good juke movement from Versus here to get out the corner, though he back himself into the other corner. He gets a bit lucky that he hit that dive, but it doesn't really matter with this much of a life lead. Super to timer scam Dboy out. I like it. Adds sodium damage to Dboy.
Round 2 of set 3. Final match for the Mothra Ditto.
Level 3 time.
I hope you all in chat are ready, because it's about to get intense. Both going to the air.
Ready for this?
Oh! Same brain.
Okay, Versus man, you really gotta stop doing those really weird dives. Because Dboy is punishing him now, and you see when he gets the higher position, then he can get a dive that's actually effective. Ooh. Okay, it's very rare to actually get hit by the dust cloud. And a nice punish on the whiff dive there. And a nice punish on the command jump.
Probably not. Speaking of rapid attack. Yep, speaking of which, they're both in their wrath state.
And another good dive punish. Dboy tried to use the height of dust to like reflect his beam back upwards and try to clip Versus, but that is a really risky play.
Okay.
Oh,
So this is the nightmare situation. He's in his wrath
that was
state.
really close. Versus had the right idea there though. If you're gonna dive so close to the ground, you may as well get all the way to the ground so you can cancel into the command jump and get out with the invincibility. It'll make you much more difficult to get punished. And Versus takes it over Dboy, even with all the bad dives that just did not get punished enough. Looks like the next match I picked out was me versus Godzilla versus.
Discord in the Godzilla save there.
I believe I picked Godzilla in this matchup specifically because I think Cosmic fought this matchup earlier and he didn't really know what to do about it, so I want to show an example. It's also a good example of how to approach Mothra with most of the cast. The general idea here is you want to control her space. She's strong because she's very mobile and she can fly. If you control the air and bring her down closer to the ground level, then you have a good fighting chance because she just explodes if you hit her.
Alright. BoswerLK with those 2 tail swipes gets it even, but those Gale Force wins, gets him back down.
So I constantly throw out these air fireballs, and the idea isn't so much to actually hit her with it, it's to force her to fly down lower, so I can hit her with stuff like this. Look at that. 2 hits, and she's at half stun. And her health is already very, very low. Even with the dust out, I am still going to throw the air fireball. I am just trying to force her to fly closer to the ground.
Yep, BoswerLK is just going to keep on spamming that.
Random super in this game in general is not a very good idea. The rage bonus is like 50% damage and you really want to take advantage of it. And here you see, this is why Mothra is allowed in tournaments. Once she's in the corner, and she loses her mobility advantage, she just takes so much damage and it's so easy to kill her.
Yep.
Nice back turn, meaty throw, Oki. I was really not expecting that. But fortunately, Mothra throws aren't really super dangerous anyways, so it's fine. It is her highest damage, but it's, you know, it's still Mothra damage.
Precaution here, but Boswer gets the bad end of that arrangement, and now Godzilla versus is ahead a bit.
Here you see the other good use of air fireballs. I can push myself and fight out of the corner and get myself out of a bad position.
Air ribbon gets him out of that, but not out of
okay, I get punished for it there, but okay, I don't know why that tail flick missed.
Goes back to the aerial
I thought that would hit, and that probably would have been close to death. I would have comboed into the DP, or tried to combo into heavy DP for knockdown. And yeah, at that point, Mothra is just one more hit from death.
BoswerLK literally at 1%. If he can win this, it will be quite clutch. Dust Cloud needs to watch out.
That was a missed input for sure. I probably tried to do instant air, jump back, heavy fireball to just make this big stream in the sky. And yeah, force her back down closer to the ground.
Okay.
3 times. Both of them have rest saves full, even though it ain't actually happening.
Okay. Bro, I swear to God, bro, I'm getting the ROM hack as soon.
This is a really good example of why Godzilla does fairly well in this matchup. Like, even besides this combo where I almost got the full 0 to 100 stun,
DM me about it. Let me know. But
what happened there was I threw my air fireball at a height where it would have caught him whether he did command jump or not. If he did not command jump, I could have run up TP into another knockdown and I can do it again. So instead he command jumps into the fireball and gets brought back down and clipped by a big combo.
Yep,
I believe this is where I threw... No. This is where Mothra's really bad priority screws her over. Like, if you throw out a button, almost any button with active frames, it will beat any button she presses. For Mothra, if you want to get out of that air fireball trap on Wake Up, what you need to do is either command jump very late, or fly up for like just 1 or 2 pixels, then like down backdash back to the ground, and then command jump. That way you'll sort of like try jump out slightly far away enough so that the tail spin cannot hit you and you don't get swept again, and you go through the fireballs with your invincibility. That every fireball was an accident. I tried to press 5X, but I have a habit of mashing both D-pad and the buttons, which is not necessary for this game. You only need to press the face buttons when you're getting out of grab. You can also see right there why I do not think Hurricane Winds is a very good mediocre. Even the first one that was a back turn unblockable,
Yep,
it
both
hardly
in the
did
rest
any
states now.
damage, and even though
Those
it
with
did
atomic breath
half my
ribbons are gonna be
stun,
doing extra
I
damage.
recovered all of it
Yep.
almost instantly
Ooh,
because I
that's
was
not
not
something
close to
Mothra
stun,
really gets
I
hit
was
by.
not in
Full
rage,
seal.
and it
That
just
really
pushes
put
me
those
so
gale
far
forces against
away.
will. Go ahead, Sen.
I just had this one.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the sparklers.
Yep.
I remember Versus asking me about this, by the way.
Uranium
When
heat
your back
ray.
is to the corner, your knockback mechanics change, and because I
Bonks?
walked
Ooh,
slightly out of the
BoswerLK
corner,
barely edges out. I would say that's 3
he
or 4%
did
right
not
there.
bounce
Ooh,
back
remaining.
very far, and
Oh,
my
it'd be funny
knockback got
when you
stopped by the
died,
corner,
that K would
leaving
sit
me
beside
in a
you for
position
once.
where I can punish the block dive.
Completely bit crushed because his
He actually had
SNES
me there, but because corner cross-up mechanics are weird, and
aerial ribbon off
basically
rip.
every
Mothra
fighting
gets
game ever,
BoswerLK following up with a bit of a combo.
yeah.
Breaks out of the grab. He needs to figure out that because Godzilla vs. is one of the most competent grabbers I've seen as a Mothra. AK is the only person I've seen that can grab with Mothra. Gets a good scale on BoswerLK. He'll need to low block that.
Again, a slight micro walk out of the corner protects me from the dive.
Combo. Godzilla vs. Wrath attack, and that airstrike does so much damage. That aerial ribbon. Both throwing out their best attacks to counter each other. Yo.
I tried a
on the
fireball, a
ground.
command
Okay.
jump there,
Okay.
he did not bite.
His input for Dark Echoes is holding down.
And I
on the
fished
ground
for a
30
dive here
seconds,
because he
but yeah,
dived
goes for
in the
holy
same
set.
situation a couple rounds ago, but he also did not bite this
Yeah, I
time.
guess that's its full name now.
Oh, this
Oh,
is
God.
where I
Ooh,
threw.
the dust cloud. Will we chip him out?
Chip damage.
Nope.
Did I?
Ooh.
Yeah, I did.
Godzilla vs. gets round 2 of set 2.
And versus gets like just chipped away that win. Now, last round of this set.
Yep. Yes, sir. I think at this point, they both got the down.
I cannot believe I missed my 100% stun combo there. He bite throws out of that, which is absolutely the smartest move. Bite throws take a long time, give him a lot of time to recover his stun. And no, this is where I threw super hard. That was almost like an instant kill round for me if I didn't, miss my combo. Instead of 5x, I probably should have just done a light punch DP.
Pretty much. This is
I just kind of misjudged his height, and yeah, this happened. This game is pretty brutal. Actually, what I really should have done is I should have just roared, but I was playing really greedy and I wanted to get the strike stun so I can get more stun combo damage, which, yeah, so it's kind of my fault that happened. Anyways, at this point I just decided I wanted to stay in winner's bracket so I can play it around more in grand finals, which means Ghidorah. Ghidorah does pretty well against Mothra and it's fairly easy. Partially because of that, his throw range is really big and that can punish a dive, but also his jump 5x, that headbutt you see there, it's really good at controlling the sky. And yeah, he didn't really respect either of those options this round, and that's that.
He wanted to do this so bad.
He really did.
Sometimes I feel like Giddy is Boswer's true main. Nah, it has to be Godzilla, but goddamn if he doesn't know how to play a good Ghidorah.
We're really seeing Mothra gritty right now.
So, James is convinced that dive kick sucks, but here you see why it's actually a really good movement tool. I was in the corner, and now she's in the corner.
Ooh, gets hit into the dust cloud.
Also, Mothra has a really hard time punishing it anyways, so I can use it as a poke for situations like that.
Yeah, it pretty much does, because it does like a good third to half of Mothra's damage. Because he can ooh.
And again, just goes right over Fireball. Another unsafe dive, gets punished. Huge damage. He misses his command jump a couple times and just dies for it. As a Mothra player, you really, really need to get your reversal command jump timing down. Because if you don't, and you start getting hit, stuff like this happens. Or you get like knocked down again and again and again.
The Ghidorah tech and the Ghidorah matchup completely takes that set. But right now, I need more power.
Oh yeah, the Fair Match Classic. They actually used to go really even, but lately Dboy has improved a lot,
Alright,
and
chat, this is a risky play.
James
And by risky,
kind
I
of
mean
just has
absolutely
not been
freaking
able to
stupid.
keep
So
up.
let's get it.
I'm really surprised he picked Showa Mechagodzilla for this matchup. So Showa's biggest weakness is that some characters can just go in on him really hard, and there's not a whole lot he can do about it. And Heisei Mechagodzilla is definitely one of them.
Alright,
He's just
seems to be having
so
some
fast.
controller malfunction.
His jump kick reaches so far.
Oh my god, control.
It's not
I swear.
an unwinnable matchup for Showa Mechagodzilla, but he needs to have his anti-air game
Oh,
really, really solid, and
yes we do, reset.
anti-airing in this game is actually really hard.
So. Alright. Good luck, have fun. Alright, chat. Let's try this again. Yo, it's the Mechagodzilla map. No.
Well,
What?
first
It's an
second of the
overhead.
match,
It's an overhead. I need to learn
he
that.
jumps immediately,
Oh, God.
and
Oh,
James
God, this was a
already does
mistake.
not anti-air.
Oh, no.
So yeah,
Oh, no.
this was a mistake.
Aha, you fool.
Okay, that was a good fly out. He should have came down with the button, given the
No.
position.
Bitch.
When you unfly behind him, Showa Mechagodzilla turns around, and you can hit them in the back of the head with it.
No,
That's really good.
It's bad.
And that's not
No.
good at all.
Oh, no.
Melee brawling with
This doesn't
Heisei
work for Gold
Mechagodzilla
Guardians,
is
'cause you use the
usually
arrow,
not a
but
good idea,
maybe I can
especially
do
if
this.
you're the game's dedicated zoner as Showa Mechagodzilla.
Fuck. Get off of me! Ah! No.
Okay, so this is a
No,
lot better.
motherfucker.
Defensive poking to keep him off you. He's going to come at you really hard, and you have good buttons with good priority, and this really good anti-air
Got
super.
him, GG.
Don't,
Yeah.
when you stun
Yeah.
Heisei
Got him too
Mechagodzilla,
comfortable, eh,
don't run
D-boy?
up to him like that.
Yeah.
It's a Godzilla
Probably
game.
peeking
Your
at
heavy
right
beam
now.
does a ton of damage, and his stun animation is really tall. Just heavy beam, and
Forward?
take
Or
the
that.
damage from full
I
screen
totally
away.
did not miss input. No, I would never. I'm getting hit. Yep. Hey, still got the process missiles. Let's go. Fuck. Aha, got him. GG's. Nope.
Okay, and
I
that
got
is
you.
exactly why you do not run up to
Oh,
him.
fucker.
Okay, that was checkmate at that
GG's, you
point.
had me sweating for
Even
sure,
if he
for
jumped
sure,
the
for
missile,
real,
the
for real.
beam would have caught him. So that was
But
a really
I
good
get
way to
one
save
set.
and almost
No,
throw.
I get
So he actually took the game. Wow, that's...
how
I
how
don't
we feeling
actually
about this
remember
one,
that
chat?
happening, but that's really, really
Feeling
good
kinda
with
nervy.
Showa Mechagodzilla. Because that is not a good matchup for Showa at all.
Oh no.
It's not unwinnable, but it's definitely Heisei favorite, for sure.
All right, let's get into it. What are you gonna say, Sen?
I said you got this, buddy. If you
Thank
lose
you.
this match, do what I should have done.
And ditto him. He's saying if you lose him, ditto him.
Ditto him, James.
My Mothra is trash, but I'll think about
Speaking
it.
of bad
Let's get
matchups,
into it.
this is probably Showa's absolute worst matchup.
I haven't done this one.
His projectiles and all his normals are just designed to fight someone on the ground.
That's my goal.
He has very few
Okay, so
options
his
to
first
fight
thing is
Mothra
essentially
in
a
the
free
air.
get my-
He needs to go into flight mode himself, and that's really risky because he does not recover stun during his
my
flight
missiles are
mode.
physical.
And he's also
Okay,
really
he's
fat
right there.
in his flight mode.
Yeah. Get down there. Ew, brother.
There wasn't really a whole lot of reason for Dboy to get it 3 times there. That kick does have really good priority, but as you can see, the damage is not really all that dangerous.
Uh-oh. Yup.
That is
Pretty much.
a really
Goodbye.
bad super, and I don't know why he let it rip
There you
like
go.
that.
Buddy.
Against Mothra, you should have at least
Okay.
arced it up.
You. That worked. Oh, the lag. Okay.
Even
Oh,
if
not
he
bad.
blocked
No,
that,
it's fine. It's fine.
one of the worst things about being Showa in this matchup is that he does not have a consistent punish for the dive.
Feeling
If the
motivated.
dive lands really close to him, he can punish with a throw. But usually his short throw range just does not allow that, and he kind of just has to eat the chip all day long.
Okay. Uh-oh. Fuck. Bad. Thanks, Overlord. Welcome to the stream. I'm getting my ass kicked by a Mothra. So how's your day going?
So, yeah, Margo once asked me if Showa was solo viable,
I might be dead
and
here.
this is why he's not solo main viable. That jump kick he does
So this
is one of his best normals, and
what
the
if I got
hitbox is quite small. As you can see right there, it's pretty much just his toes, so it just kind of went right through Mothra there. He finally goes into flight mode here, but it's just too late, and he probably would have lost even if he went into flight mode earlier, just because it's kind of easy to get dived on and zoned out to the dust and all sorts of bad things happening when you're that fat as flying Showa
What were you
Mechagodzilla.
thinking? Because I was thinking either Gigan or SMG. She is if you let her out of
You know
the
what,
phone.
James? I'll tell you what to do.
Okay, look, BoswerLK, I'm trying here, but yes, then?
Hey, I'll tell you what you need to do. Make
Yeah?
him taste the rainbow, motherfucker.
Yes, sir. It's Megazord. We need Megazord power.
Meanwhile, he just throws like the soul punisher at him, and then
All
just
right,
does
boys.
like 2 kicks before that.
Thanks for your input. Let's get it. All right, so bit rusty on SMG, but I think I got it.
Okay,
Yeah,
he switches
neutral
to
heavy, spiker
SMG.
into the
That's
ground, lunge kicks. Yeah, no, I got
alright.
this. I got this.
Ghidorah actually has a much better matchup against Mothra than SMG in my opinion, but
let's go
SMG
Garuda.
has some good tools. Garuda, you see right there, is really good at controlling space, especially with the swoop.
Don't get too cocky. What's that?
Yeah.
What's that? Ooh, what's that?
The
Ooh,
Garuda
what's that?
beam can bring her down to
Hey.
swoop
Hey, how we
level,
feeling?
is the
How we
main
feeling,
key
boy?
to this
How we
matchup.
feeling? Well, let's not feel too good, huh? Bonk!
Jump 2x is not the correct confirm when
God,
you
GG's.
hit a swoop like that. Especially in this matchup, you
Goodbye.
need to do the jump 5x, get the knockdown, get that Oki pressure, and
God,
possibly
I
an
forgot how good
ODG
SMG is,
2x.
bro. God,
James had the right idea there,
Oh my
anticipating
God.
man jump and
Dude, I
beating
need to
her
attach
before she
Garuda
gets
more
there
often. This shit's great.
for a punish, but he just
Okay.
pressed it a little
Yeah,
bit
I
too
jumped
early.
over that,
The
of course, why
invincibility
not?
had not run out yet. Also, it should have been 5x to get a knockdown and put her back in the same
You said.
situation.
Fuck.
I don't know why he started just randomly jumping around desperately and making like really bad jumps like that and this and just getting punished for it. He was doing fine.
Huh?
This interaction
That
was
was
just really weird. I've never seen that happen before. I don't know why or what happened. He needs to stay
Yeah,
near
it
Garuda
tells you
or
the
call
street-
Garuda
description.
back to him. If you hold down and I think it's A, you can make Garuda fly faster towards your position and
Bye.
keep him near you.
Huh?
Like, see right here, Garuda's so far away, he can't really support SMG for this matchup. This position is good, but he's kind of just getting bopped here
Okay.
and not doing anything
Sheesh.
about it.
You fool!
Okay. I guess
you
that's
thought
why he
you
wanted
used
to call
Garuda,
Garuda back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
yeah,
personally would have
yeah,
just
yeah.
left Garuda there. Garuda was in a good position. He could have done swoop to confirm into the regular super. The damage is not really all that important just because SMG's full Garuda all-out attack super does less damage on Mothra anyways.
Bruh.
So, yeah, regular Heisei's
with a capital D, bruh.
punchy, kicky super ends up doing about the same damage.
It's how I
But
feel,
with
but
Garuda off,
that's
you
not
have
what the
more
game says.
options to
Dboy
confirm
takes me
into it and not just
2-1.
do it randomly like that.
So let's
And
skip over to the
basically
bracket. I think I
kind of just get lucky
got fourth.
that Mothra did not hit him out of that.
Wow. But
Also, he
GG's
should look to
Dboy,
punish
well
block
played.
dives with 5x or the standing heavy.
Dboy on the left, Godzilla versus on the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with the kaiju.
Okay, so next up is the
fun
run
match.
back from winner's bracket. One thing you have to notice about Dboy is that
All right, good advice, boss.
he only unleashes his true power when he's in the loser's bracket. When things are on the line, when the pressure is on, he plays so much better. And that is why he is going to win this set.
Hits here. Godzilla in the lead. Sans talking to his mother. All right, paralysis torpedo's not really landing.
Really
On the
good
ground.
predictive, jumping
Dash,
5x,
lunge kick.
aiming for where he thinks Mothra is
And
going to
fist,
be, and not
lunge
where she
kick,
currently is. And he
bonk,
gets it
bang,
again.
Boom.
Godzilla versus
Aurora
having a lot of trouble getting off the ground, and he just punishes him for it. Well, I've seen this glitch a lot of times, it's really weird. Both of you occupy the same X position, and you both just attack the wrong way, and
Definitely has
yeah,
the
attack
Mothra
through each
matchup,
other.
I can say that for certain.
He could have jumped out to get a better punish, but I mean, staying in is funnier, so I respect that.
Not playing as SMG, you can detach Garuda and get the sickest anti-air you've ever seen. Another reason why you should not just pick only Heisei Mechagodzilla. Get an SMG, you get good anti-air. But anyways, after advertising, let's see here.
He goes for it again, but
Really
guesses wrong this time, and versus does get the punish. Still
Dboy,
having
gets
trouble
pretty
off the
much
ground, but he finds the other good option of just flying up and dashing forwards in case they jump.
Some kicks, some jabs.
Heisei Mechagodzilla does not have any cross-ups, so in general, any sort of quick burst forward movement is a great option whenever he's in the air. If he did not miss the command jump there, this would probably not have happened, but it's pretty hard to do a first frame reversal in this game. I don't think there's any buffer window. And in any case, this is the second time, or the second person that plays these tournaments to do a true combo into super in this game, other than myself. So that's really, really good. Good job, Dboy. Or rather, it would have been a true combo on anyone besides Mothra, because, you know, Mothra needs that first frame invincibility.
Yep, Angular stage.
Man, and another good jumping 5x. He is so good at fighting these in this matchup.
First blood. Yep. Kept dancing around, keeping Mothra in check, making sure she doesn't get too much air. Yep. Gale Force wins, keeping Dboy in check partially, but it's still not enough. He needs to do more. Ooh, Gale Force wins.
Well, okay, now he's kind of just spamming it randomly.
Ooh, Holy Seal gets hit on Dboy. That does so much damage, more than I thought.
That was a really good time to let loose the super when he's about to dash under. And Dboy basically put himself into a 50-50 mix-up by doing that.
Decay on, so that way he can.
That jumping 5Y button uppercut thing is a trap. It looks like an anti-air, but it's not, because it does so little hit stun and they can hit you right back right after for more damage than you hit them.
Or are you talking about Dark Echoes?
Mothras.
Holy Seal?
Yeah.
I think when it comes to damage,
Alright, going for a jumping 2x now for the much longer reach and slightly better active frames. Faster startup. Overall, it's easier to hit her with the 2x.
How much damage does Holy Seal do compared to all the other Wrath attacks? But yeah, while I've asked that, Godzilla versus...
This was a good idea, but a little bit ambitious. Still, it gets him back in for another jumping 5x.
Gets it pretty much back to even. Actually, back to even.
Believe it or not, this is actually not a very good matchup for Heisei Mechagodzilla. His damage is just so low, and he only really has 2 attacks that can hit high enough to get Mothra. And you see that here, that he's Versus is starting to figure out that he can just cross up dive under most of those jump-ins. And it's really hard for Heisei Mechagodzilla to catch him mid-dive. He was doing a good job of it earlier though, but now he switches to the Mothra mirror again.
Yo. Let's fucking go. Ooh, both do it. Okay.
And it's Dboy with the really weird, nonsensical random dive this time. I
Duskcloud keeping that
really
shit
don't
up.
understand what logic behind it
Airstrike
is,
not
and he does it
easy.
again, and he gets punished for it.
Whoa, that was a weird sound.
That was just a really sick catch off the beam startup.
Ooh.
And he,
Gonna gauge
wow,
that.
beams
Dboy
himself
has
with the
his full
dust.
state, but is looking
That's
absolutely
awkward to
abhorrent
see.
damage. That was the
But I
that's
get it,
first
it's kind of
blood
hard to
on
tell what's going on when
on
there's like
Godzilla
2
versus
dust clouds going on
should
and
change his
like
name
you
to Mothra
don't really
versus
remember
just
which
the
one
last
is
raid, because he
yours.
is absolutely keeping it aggressive
Purple and
on
yellow
that
not really all that distinguishable in the heat of battle.
are both keeping their distance here, not trying to invade. Ooh,
Okay,
Dboy
and
trying to
here
see what
Dboy gets a
Jackson
really good
gets that
position, and he
airstrike.
knows how to use the wing chops to control space when the other
Yeah,
Mothra
both
is
trying
below
to-
him.
they- both in their wrath state. Only a quarter of time left. But in the wrath state, anything could happen. Holy Seal kind of
Well,
wasted
that was
from
weird.
Dboy,
He
but
probably
the Devil's Guard
predicted that
also
he was going to do a random dive or
Okay, I
something.
guess they're just
That's
both gonna airstrike. Dboy needs to do
yeah, you
something
can't really
absolutely
predict
crazy
random.
if he wants to get a win.
He honestly should have kept it
Good
just
job,
for the
Grandmaster.
rage damage boost.
No, that's not enough.
Instead, he
Sorry,
gets time
Dboy.
over. I guess he wanted to
Gets to
Hail
win.
Mary it just
He gets to
because,
win 2 rounds
yeah,
in a
time
row.
was
He
running
gets to
out
stay in the
and
tourney.
he didn't know how to get in from that position.
Says Dangan in the chat.
Honestly, the health deficit wasn't
Semis
really
are tough.
that large when he did the super, and he really should have just played a bit more patient
Yeah,
and
one
just
thing
walked
I've
forward
forgotten
and
to tell you,
played
Sen,
footsies and try to just beat
you don't
him.
need to
He
do
was
the full semicircle
his
back and
positioning
forward
is just a
motion. You
little
can
bit
just
better.
do down forward, down back, down forward, and that would just input the button
Except
correctly.
not that part right there.
Yeah, so it's a little
I
short
don't know
there.
what that was, or why he ran into the wind a million times, or why he flew
But yeah,
down
giving
into
that
a
advice,
dive
Godzilla
bomb.
versus is already
Now he's at a
halfway
huge
to
health
winning.
deficit.
Dboy needs to clutch this out. Absolutely needs to. Those antenna beams didn't hit for some reason. It's not good. Gale Force wins. Or Muda Muda. Muda. Funny exchange there, okay.
Okay, so this was what he should have done towards the end of the last
Nothing
round.
much is happening.
Walk up,
Airstrike.
heavy wing chop
Dboy
to
almost
poke.
evening
If
it
he
out.
wins, you just
Ooh,
step back a little bit
Gets
and
knocked to the
use a
ground. He needs
light
to get
beam
back up and do
to
something.
outrange the wind and punish that
Alright.
way.
Getting
Again, he
some wind
finds
slaps in
good
here.
positioning over it,
Alright,
good
both in their-
patience, waiting
both
for
in
him
their wrath state. Yeah,
to
both in their wrath state.
command
Dboy-
jump back
Dboy,
into the
all he
corner
needs to
and
do
punish
is
that.
avoid.
And now he made up that huge health
Ooh,
deficit,
Dboy,
and he
you're
almost
getting
threw
very
by
close to
beaming
this.
himself
He
again,
just
but
needs to
it's
not get hit.
probably fine. There's just not enough time.
Ooh.
He goes for a random dive
Anyway,
there.
Dboy
It
is
would not
still
have hit
in. He
anyways.
takes round 2. All
But
he needs to do
yeah,
is
Godzilla
win
versus
round
needs
1, and so
to
does Godzilla
really
versus
just
Halo
play
comes down to this last
very
round of
standard
Listen,
normal
let's do
footsies
it.
when he's in the air against another Mothra like that. Just walk forwards and backwards. Use your dash if you need to. And yeah, try to get him to whip a chop and punish with your own chop, or just outspace him with a light fireball.
Godzilla versus gets hit for that dust cloud.
Mothra dive priority is so bad that it actually loses to herself. Her own regular normal wing chop.
What does
That's kind of
hold?
funny.
Like
Oh,
hold,
but somehow just gets through the wind.
Hold the grab button.
Oh, actually, I know what that happens.
Oh yeah,
The wind
result is pretty, so
animation
is
doesn't
Megalon.
really
Megalon
match the
goes
hitbox,
from a
and
orange
the hitbox
base
are
design to a red base
just
design.
literal, like,
And
1
Silver
pixel
Ghidorah
wide
is
lines
my favorite
anyways.
ult in this game, but not
And yeah, basically,
Yeah.
the wind animation
Jesus
appears
Christ,
before
I'm
the
so
hitbox is
sorry. I should have
actually
paid
active.
attention. Dboy
So that dive just
takes
hit it
set 3.
before its active
Honestly, I don't know
frames.
what's up with like Constantine for me, but like
And
it's
Dboy
always
manages to
been
take it
Constantine
after
versus, like,
getting almost
and
2-0'd in the last
My favorite
game.
thing about the all
Made a
costumes
really huge
is-
comeback
sorry,
in
go
that
ahead,
second
Sam.
round, where he was
I
down
was like,
over
Dboy is
50% life.
like, to me, it's not the best.
He's all around in the chat. Okay, it cleared. Oh,
And now it's time for Grand Finals.
I don't like this lag.
So I mostly pick Anguirus here
But
because
I'm
I
getting
just
a lot
really
of
wanted to play some Anguirus.
spikes. Yeah, BoswerLK.
I keep going for the heavy back tackle because the priority is really high, and if it reaches the active frames, it will stuff Hazy Mechagodzilla right out of the air or any approach he tries. You see right here, that is a proper anti-air with Anguirus, the 2X targeting his back thigh.
This was clearly not the play Dboy.
But overall, I just played a bit too greedy, and I just get punished for it by Hazy Mechagodzilla's much faster normals.
No, I was saying Boswer's play for taking Angerus to counter may not be the play, but yeah.
2x also a pretty good
MG2
tool to stop him from just running in. And there you see one of the great perks of just rushing in very aggressively with Heisei Mechagodzilla is that he got right under my jumping forward down 2x. That 2Y jump in is actually genius. From that distance, I can't punish it with a throw, and as you can see, it beat my 2x anti-air. I fished for neutral jump 2x a couple times, and this is why. It does so much stun, and it has great reach, and Angerus just does so much damage, and if you get caught like that twice in a row in quick succession, you're going to die. Heisei Mechagodzilla has the speed advantage, but Angerus definitely has the damage advantage in this matchup.
Looking like Dboy taking it for air. Ooh, the air LV. Ooh,
and here's another great example of that. Just one jump in, one throw. I actually got the bite throw glitch there. It's frame perfect and got an extra hit with the tail flip. And that's it. One good jump in, one wrong guess on his wake up, and that's 100 to 0.
Let me ask a question in the men in chat.
The sickest part is, even if he gets right and he blocked the jumping neutral 2x on his wake up, I still get another mix-up, and even if that mix-up doesn't go through, I can still just roar to take the stun anyways, and still do a ton of damage. So going to Mothra here is a really good idea. This is Angerus' worst matchup, and it's not unwinnable. It's a lot better than Showa Mechagodzilla's, but it's still really rough. The only real tool here is that jumping tail flip. It covers a lot of airspace, and it does bring her down a little bit. And again, once she's close to the ground, anyone can kill her. Angerus' grab range, not really the best, so these punches are a bit tough. I went for a super there, and I kind of just went straight into the ground. I didn't know that was going to happen. I don't play Angerus all that much. I thought I would skid, at least offer back a little bit. The general idea is that makes this matchup doable, is that Mothra can't really do a whole lot about the super, except if I just super myself into the beam like that. I should have done the ground super for the projectile invincibility, since he already put the dust out, and it was kind of obvious that he was gonna fireball there, but I was a bit bloodthirsty, because the idea is you try to get 3 wrath attacks off, and you just get them off as soon as possible, and you get most of your damage from that.
Mothra just getting the general airstrike, the general Mothra niche stuff, but
funny thing is, being cornered is actually not a bad position for Angerus in this matchup. Mothra's most dangerous tool is that she gets really easy cross-up dives, and when you're in the corner, it's really hard to get crossed up. I don't know why that did so much damage. It usually does about like 30%, but I just hit a really, really lucky pixel, and yeah, I got like a million hits off that super. That doesn't usually happen. Also, at this point, it's kind of clear that Dboy is just not really all that familiar with this matchup. He's using the beams a lot, and he's doing a lot of dives that hit in front. Neither of those are a very good idea against Angerus. See the beam here, it doesn't really control a lot of important space, and these 4 dives, maybe Angerus can't really punish him all that well, but he can call him out with this flash kick thing, the standing 5x.
Oh, I think Sans even joins back in for some commentary.
What Dboy really needs to do is to fly higher and fly closer to Angerus and to threaten the cross-up dive bomb. I can 5x if I read the dive bomb correctly, but that's why you shimmy back and forth and try to fade out the flash kick and just punish with a heavy dive that way. So I either get crossed up, or I do a guess anti-air and I get punished. That will be Mothra's main pressure in this matchup. The wing chops
You're not done
just
yet,
do not
boy.
do enough damage, and
Yeah,
you're
he has to
really
say his
just
angers.
giving me more meter. And that is
Who he's
the
saying
absolute worst thing you can do in this matchup.
Oh, Hasty Mechagodzilla.
Yeah. I will keep asking if the lag is too much because I'm noticing that it's starting to increase a little, but if they're fine, they're fine. BoswerLK says nah. Okay, so he's good.
Anchor's 2x low crushing the Mechagodzilla 2x in display there.
Alright, Dboy opens with his Heisei Mechagodzilla,
Look at that
getting some good
meter.
jabs.
It was already almost full.
I get
Yep.
caught with random super constantly
Yep,
because
gets hit
my
with the Blitzkrieg,
reflexes
though.
are really, really slow. But nah, he set that up really well just by playing really aggressive and forcing me to block. So the chances of me hitting him out of it are unlikely, and jumping his super on reaction is honestly very difficult even with good reflexes. I wanted to show this off in slow motion just so you can see just how intricate and difficult anti-airing is in this game. 2x is the correct response, but my spacing was not correct. My tail does not connect with the back thigh or his nutsack. I should have judged the spacing better based on where he jumped off from and did a micro dash forward first before I did 2x, and that would have worked.
I-beam. He hits him out of it. Ooh! Scrapes away that synthetic diamond coating and gets into his heart. And it takes round 1 of set 3.
Oh no, James said the 3-letter word. He's gonna get sucked.
Alright. Both jumping over each other. Brief small low I-beam there. Doesn't do much though.
Really good reaction from Dboy there, seeing that I'm also jumping in the air and using 2Y, and that just not taking the risk of trading with my 2x.
And Heisei Mechagodzilla has... Yeah, Megalon has it too.
I'm kind of surprised this frame trap blew up in my face, but honestly I probably should have thrown off the air reset anyways.
But BoswerLK does take it in.
Dboy's pokes and punishes were just really on point that round.
Go ahead. Were you gonna say something, Sen? I'm sorry.
The funniest thing is, when we call it Steve Ariel, I just imagine we seen Mecha Godzilla pull out a pickaxe and just forward arrow.
Right. Yeah, Dboy putting in the absolute smacking dash bashes and lunge kicks. Blitzkrieg denied from Dboy.
Again, I keep fishing for the back tackle and it's not paying off.
A well-placed taunt would work.
And for that interaction, since he was coming in so aggressively, instead of neutral jump 2x, I probably should have just done back jump 2x. Instead, Dboy caught on and adapted and started anti-airing the 2x by hitting me with his standing 5x before my startup.
Yeah, but at this rate, if his Heisei Mechagodzilla keeps on keeping on, then he may just do it. Comeback, I can do this, says Dboy in the Mendafin chat. Oh, you've upset the dragon now. He's blown out Godzilla, and we're in the pagoda map. Yep.
Air Fireball also really good in this matchup, just because he cannot duck under it. I don't really care all that much if he reflects it with the plasma grenade, because it's actually really, really weak in this game. I get hit with it here and see it hardly does anything. This was kind of unfortunate for me, but that was actually excellent spacing by Dboy, just right outside my 2x range. So I was not able to deny it.
What that did? He's doing it!
I actually wanted to out beam fight the plasma grenade since he was letting go of the reflect really early for her interactions, but he kind of just missed it there. And that failed anti-air at the end is another example of just how deep anti-airing goes in this game. 2x is an anti-air for Godzilla, but not in this specific matchup in that specific scenario. The Mechagodzilla jumping 2x does not have a hitbox under him and at his hind legs. So instead of trying to challenge from the front with something like 2x, I should have either ran forward under him and gone behind him to punish with a throw, or press 5x and use the way Godzilla lunges forward during that animation to target his back thigh. That was a really sick sequence from Dboy, first using a paralyzer missile to cover his first approach with the headbutt, and then for the second headbutt using the really long distance that he got pushed back from to build up a lot of speed, and to just make it really hard for me to time my DP to stop his approach. He's also been doing a really good job of using that run to get under me every time I jump forward, and this was just unfortunate. Sending 5Y probably should have worked, but it was not optimal anyways. At a distance that close, I should have ran forward under him and gone throw punish, just because he was... Yeah, I mean, he was so close that our attacks went through each other, and like when we push each other back out, my active frames ended and his was still active, so that's what happened there.
Shut up, never. You're jinxing it. Oh.
Admittedly, I only went BoswerLK here because I knew I had another set, and I just really wanted to play BoswerLK this tournament. Before the cash prize was announced, I did originally intend to main BoswerLK for this particular tournament. She's really fun to play, but she's really bad. As you can see right here, she's... Well, she's really easy to oppress, and Mechagodzilla is one of the most oppressive characters in this game, so this is not exactly a great counterpick, but on the bright side, I only really need 1 or 2 hits to kill him. Good hits though, not those like small little stray projectiles and pokes and a couple of anti-airs.
No, don't say fair, Overlord. Don't look, BoswerLK. I think he's the worst. Hard to master, definitely. Lots of counterplays to her. Gigan just got the low end of the stick when it comes to his attacks being not delivering chip damage, but Dboy still trying to push through. BoswerLK getting the download. Ooh, Vine shields the Blitzkrieg. Yeah,
okay, so this really was supposed to have killed. I don't know how... Okay, I mean, missing that combo isn't uncommon. The combo is just really inconsistent, and because I threw him into the corner from so close, I'm sure weird things happened, but I don't really know how or why it got botched so bad that not only did it not combo, but he had time to 2x me out of it, and that right there was a missed win because I missed my micro dash. That said, congratulations to Dboy. He played the matchup correctly, he's playing the most aggressive character in the game, and he just needs to keep playing aggressive like he has been, and keep oppressing her so that she can't really get anything started. He stopped messing with her range game with the mortars, and he also stopped jumping, because those are 2 things that BoswerLK can't do in this matchup. Because her anti-air is fairly consistent, and it's pretty easy to do. It's just 2x.
Ghidorah versus Heisei Mechagodzilla.
Ghidorah doesn't actually have a matchup advantage over Mechagodzilla. I just picked Ghidorah because I felt like he was going to go Mothra if he loses, and that is a matchup where Ghidorah just dominates. This is about 5-5, I think. Ghidorah has the really good anti-air, but he cannot anti-air that jumping 5x, so he kind of has to guess. And he does have the crouching 2x to stuff any ground approaches. His long throw range means that that was a really, really good super punish on the Goomba Stomp.
Watch out, Mario! Swing your arms from side to side.
Alright, Dboy
Come on,
backing up,
it's
trying to get
time
some space.
go.
It's on 2 HP.
And that was a really sick anti-air
Dboy takes
5X.
round 1 of set.
Trying to get around the
Yeah, I guess there's
head
set
box
one-
of my
set
jumping
1
5X.
star. 1 asterisk.
We are living in a dream, folks.
For real, for real.
What I got?
Requiem. Duh. Ooh, Dboy gets into his wrath state.
Nah.
10 seconds in.
This is infinite spin level.
Grabs are they are. They're weirder than most. I will agree. But Goomba Stomp, he's gonna get the full 8? No.
Ooh, Ghidorah in the lead.
Ooh,
And another really good
Yeah.
raw super punish on the early anti-air tear.
Still, Dboy has a massive health advantage in this. Any hit will take him down. Oh,
This was checkmate. He should have kept the pressure on. Even if he did get the plasma grenade off, I
Shaking and
could have
sweating
dive kicked
tonight,
over it
so
and
BoswerLK
punished it that
takes
way.
round 1 of
And
set,
he
1
would have
extra.
died first, regardless of what he did.
Do you boys have any input right now? Or are you just as stuttered as me?
My bad reflexes biting me here. Like I was about to say earlier, with his big throw range, can almost always
He's
punish
so good with
jumping
the
in
trigger
too wide
finger
like
thing,
that
bro. He
for
just knows
huge
when to do it
damage.
perfectly.
Instead, I
that pretty
get
high stun
supered
meter.
and I'm almost done.
Oh, he knocks
And
his ultimate.
I actually out-set play
those who-
myself here.
Yeah, the
Every
reason
other
why that
time
works
in the
so
last
well
set
is because
where I was
when
about to get
you're
stunned, I just
doing
held
your
down
wrath attack
back
right
and
before
turtled a bit.
you do it, you flash
So
red fully, and you get to
I thought
stun
he
meter,
was
so if they
gonna
roar or
missile
hit you
to
once,
finish the
they
stun,
get knocked
and
down.
that's why I supered.
And that's
But
that
what
was-
happened instead is I did the most obvious
Yeah.
scruffy thing of
For a second.
raw super, and yeah, he read that like a book.
Mothra?
Boswer is pulling out everybody. He's calling up the whole squad.
Dboy's still really good at finding those jump 5X on Mothra.
Yep. Yep.
However, he plays this matchup a bit too aggressively and kind of just careens forward into a lot of these dives. Mashes out super there. That's not very good.
Blitzkrieg to not function. He backdashes what would once be a junk for some. He turns into treasure and bonks Boswer back to the ground. Ooh, lag skip forward.
This was a really close call. He had the right read, but he was just a little bit too slow. In general, you can't really just
And
throw
like a
out buttons
Blitzkrieg
against
will kill
Mothra
so
like you
when
can
air
against
strike
most
on
characters.
Dboy.
You really do
Other
need to
goes
control
Boswer.
her space first, because she is just so
I don't
mobile.
think I've even seen
And
BoswerLK play
if she
Mothra
gets to
once.
just
It's
fly
maybe in a
wherever she
casual,
wants,
never in match.
it's gonna be really hard to catch her. You see here, he's starting to get a bit desperate
Air
with his
strike punishing that
movements.
dash there.
There we go. Blocks it,
Yeah, he's kind of just throwing stuff out.
Wrath
And-
phase, Blitzkrieg.
Oh, very
Ooh.
good night.
Yeah, for those
Okay,
who don't
now I'm
know,
cornered,
that
I'm
special
controlled,
45
and he's
degree
finding
angle
these hits
launch
in.
there, Mothra's
A
fully
lot of these
invincible
hits
for
in.
that entire thing.
I do find a cross under out because
Yeah,
he's
the
kind of
pressure-
just holding
Ooh,
up
the air
forward,
strike, Gale Force
and
wins.
that is the
Dboy-
proper counter for Mothra,
Yep.
abusing his lack of cross-up.
BoswerLK takes set 2 as set 2 star right now. All right,
In
BoswerLK
general,
has
whenever a
stays Mothra,
Mothra
but
is in
Dboy
any
gets to-
matchup,
gets to go
you just have to play the matchup a lot slower. She's
Not to go tango. Not
like
to go
she
tango.
just does that. She's not very easy to rush down.
Does he
She's
attach the
she's very
backpack?
easy to kill once you have her in a rough spot, but
Mhm.
Make it count.
in general, you need to respect the random
Right
dives,
now.
and she kind of has to respect her not being able to block and just dying off one knockdown.
I would also be confused. I've never seen a bracket reset. Yo! My voice is almost gone, but it's not gone enough because we got a Mothra Ditto, baby.
This is the
This
third
is-
Mothra Ditto.
Arguably
this
the
is
best
literally-
character versus perhaps Bowser's actual best character.
I don't know if this is.
I
Bowser's
don't really know why I
best,
did
but it's
that here,
definitely
and like
his best
just ignored
shit
all my
possible.
own advice.
Both Mothra
But a CNC this matchup is fairly simple if you're above the other Mothra. You look to Wing Chop to push her even lower, and when she's low enough, you punish with a hard dive and get that knockdown.
Alright, Dboy might get it. Okay, airstrike. This is actually fucking insane. Oh my god.
Oh my god! Bowser on 1 HP!
Oh my
I
god.
go for a meaty dive here, thinking he would mess up his command jump,
Round 1 of set 3
just because
actually
he's
goes
under so
to
much pressure
Dboy.
here, but good job Dboy, he
Two Mothras
did not
duking it out.
miss,
Doesn't get
and he
better
still
than
got
this,
that
folks.
first ring reversal.
Maybe two Ghidorahs duking it
And he
out,
gets
but
the
with
clean
maybe two
punish
things
to
with
take the
ring.
round.
End off being two Mothra Diddles for the rest of the
And that was a really sick bait, flying just a few pixels off the floor, and then going down and into the command jump at the last second.
Okay. Come on. Alright, both duking it out here. Dboy kind of in the lead at the first quarter of the match. Yeah, did you guys know that the Gale Force winds are actually considered projectiles, so Mechagodzilla Heisei can technically absorb them.
Years of CVS2 experience has taught me how to play footsies really well, so
Yeah, Dboy in
I kind of crush him there.
at pretty decent stun
That
too.
right there was actually a mistake.
Yep.
I punished him for wake up command jump
I saw that coming.
with
yeah.
like just
Holy
really light damage
Ooh.
with that wing chop. It did not secure the round, and all it did was risk tipping him off that, like,
Nope.
hey, I'm onto
He's
you.
just gonna
You
trade
wake
hits
up
until
command
one.
jump
Go ahead, Sam.
every single time, and you do not use her other options. For
round two
a set
of
play,
set 3 start
that's
goes to
a mistake,
BoswerLK.
even though I get damage there.
Last one for set 3. Let's
I was content to just trade hits at the end because I was in rage and he was not.
This determines who gets the weed.
Yep.
So this is the big cash out punish on my read on his wake up. I get a throw
Hella damage.
and a juggle combo, and then he does it again anyways.
Ooh.
So, yeah, he pauses here, but there's really nothing he can do there. He just got read really hard, and I cashed out in the hardest way possible. If my earlier wing chop punish, like, tipped him off, then I would not have gotten this opportunity. But fortunately, he didn't notice a thing, so he just kept doing it anyways.
Yep, you still got one more chance. Yep. BoswerLK currently one set away. He has to stay as Mothra.
I think there's only one song that can make this S.
Ooh.
Going back to Mechagodzilla was honestly a mistake. He was better off with Mothra. I think he did okay in the mirror.
BoswerLK says somewhat to the idea of retrying it, but okay, I think they're going anyway. Yep, it's Dboy's Mechagodzilla against
Yeah,
Mothra.
see, he doesn't really have a new game plan here. It's just still more of the same.
But this is BoswerLK's Mothra.
Going in way too hard,
Feels
way
like
too
a
desperately.
Blitzkrieg doesn't hit. Okay.
Okay, he does find his usual hits, but
Yes. I would usually be annoyed, but this time, yes.
yeah, in general, you can sort of see his lack of a game plan here, other than jump, press buttons, and hope for the best.
But yeah,
And
BoswerLK does land the combo. Uh-oh.
yeah, he kind of just jumped so aggressively that I just
Dboy
read
needs
him
to get dubs
with
and
a
stay
very
getting
early
dubs.
wing chop. And in the corner, she does get a full juggle combo punish for that.
Dboy does have it in him, I think. He just needs to find it. Needs to find it and rip it out of him.
So, running in and getting crossed up is a different game plan, but as you can see, this works out far worse. And here it's just playing far too predictably. The jump 5x, the weakness of it is that it has a lot of startup, so even though Mothra's priority is really bad, if I know that he's just going to hold up forward and do it, I can early wing chop and hit it before the active frames come out. And even when he's clearly like out of range, he keeps doing it anyways, so I just get a free whip punish with heavy dive bomb.
Yo!
and that secures my
for an entire
GKD win.
year in a row.
What he really needed to do, and what most characters need to do, is just
BoswerLK.
slowly walk her into the corner where she does not have her mobility advantage anymore.
Everyone in chat.
And from there, you can go
all I
in.
need.
She doesn't really have that many options. Just watch out for cross under dives and try not to let her air dash right out from over you.
I don't know what he's trying
At
to do.
worst, it's like a 50-50 chance that you're going to kill her, or she gets out, and then you just do the same thing again.
What do you mean get this man out of here? He's just doing his best. Oh, wait.
Overall, I felt Dboy actually played
Challenge
Super Mega
updated.
Godzilla, or
BoswerLK.
Heisei Mega Godzilla really well,
4-1,
but
Dboy, 5-2,
he
and Godzilla versus
lacks specific
2-2.
matchup knowledge.
Okay, so that means
A
BoswerLK,
lot of the
you will be
more
getting
awkward
$30
matchups
across
is when he
PayPal.
really loses a lot of
Get into
ground.
DMs with
Like
Cosmic,
Mothra
we'll get you
versus the
situated.
Anguirus, that
Dboy,
Mothra should win that
same
most
deal
of
to
the
you,
time,
except you'll get $20
but he
through
just
PayPal,
did not
and
play that
Godzilla
correctly.
versus
It is an
Anguirus will get
awkward
10. I
matchup,
want to thank
and I don't
everyone
think
so
anyone else
goddamn
plays
much for
Anguirus
coming
in
out.
his
This is
tournaments,
probably
so there would be
one
no
of my
way
favorite
for him to
things
know.
that I take part of. Just
And of course,
ever
there's
in
not
general.
a lot of Mothra
I
players
can't
in this
believe I got
tournament,
as far as I did this
so
time.
he
Such
obviously
good players, especially
is
Godzilla
not
versus
familiar
LK.
with how to counter that matchup.
And I would just like to
But
thank
overall, his pressure
each
was
and
really
every
strong, his anti-airs were
participant,
really on point,
individually.
his
BoswerLK
pokes and
for
his
being the
jumping
Wiki writer,
angles,
the dominant
and
player,
which
and for
jumping button he chooses to
just
press
being
at
all
what
around the
times,
GOAT.
all of it was
Dboy for
very
being
pristine,
the wrench in the system that
and
we all need.
it was
True
an honor to
kind-hearted
face him in
soul at
Grand
heart.
Finals,
Godzilla
honestly,
versus for coming
and to
in,
have him
mashing
take
all
a bracket
expectations,
reset,
showing off what a real Mothra can do.
but it was
Me, I
just
guess,
not
for,
enough
I don't
this
know,
time.
making fucking fonts and making shit look pretty, I guess. Cosmic
Alright,
for
if
showing
there's
us
any
what
other specific match anyone wants me to analyze, let me
Cosmic
know
for
and I can
showing
do
us
one
what
for
a
that.
true Godzilla main can do
I
and showing us what
have no idea how to
Alvar
do a
finding
freeze frame on
intuition
this
only
video
can really get
editor,
ya.
so
Sen for
I just
being
use really slow slowdowns when I
Sen
need
for
more
being
time
the
to
joy in our
talk.
life that we all need. Kaiser
And yeah,
Nasty,
that's it
good
for me.
mother of God. What can I
Thanks
say
for
about
watching,
this
hope
man
you
that I
enjoyed it.
haven't already?
See you
Set up
next
the
time.
tournaments for us. Let us stay